right, welcome to Binge Buddies, Homicides, Hooters, and Hockey Masks. I'm your host, always Bryan Dressel. With me, as always, is Matt, Zombie Dog, Ed Gien, Dykes.
Are you muted?
You were muted. I didn't hear any of that.
It's probably either too high or too low. I was just making a lot of noises.
Oh, fair enough. We also got Mr. Joel. Hold on, I don't want to lose it here. Oh my God. Forgot who picked. We got Joel, Jeffery Dahmer, Dewitte.
Jeffrey.
I can see that.
I don't like that. That's your first response, Matt.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Ryan picked a good one for you. But we also got Ryan H. Holmes.
All right. I'll go up to Chicago for a little bit. It's fine.
Oh, for quite a bit. We'll be there for a
Yeah.
while.
Very
great.
Some
Your job.
hotels that are like
Oh.
weird mazes that have like
Also
murder
murder
rooms.
rooms. It's fine.
Yeah.
World's Fair, here I come.
I'm still kind of bummed we never got that movie.
I'm pissed we never got that series, especially with Keanu. Like
Yeah, so I heard about the Keanu, Leonardo DiCaprio is attached for a minute. Like a lot of
Scorsese
people,
was set
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah.
tons of those people were involved, and it just never happened. It's like they're
Instead,
coming a
we
really
get
cool
Killers
movie.
of the Flower Moon.
I mean, I'm still gonna go see that next Friday.
absolutely.
So.
Oh,
By
yeah.
the time this is out, I've already seen that.
I have killed 17 people.
And eaten them.
And eating them.
That's mean,
Among-
Ryan.
I should say eaten among other things.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm also seeing the word sexual assault, which is
There you
like,
go.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, trifecta of terrible, but
You should read up more on Dahmer.
You want to
It's quite
give me John
fascinating.
Wayne Gacy? I'm going to give you Jeffrey Dahmer.
yeah, well,
To be fair, Joel didn't intentionally give you Gacy. It just ended up that way.
But I
I
wanted
knew
to
what I was
other
doing.
phase. Instead, you gave it to Matt.
I mean, to be fair, if you're gonna have serial killers in the room with you, I think I'd rather have Jeffrey Dahmer than Gacy, because Gacy just—I don't know. He just seems like he'd smell.
The other dude, the other
you
dude
saying-
eats people. When he
Yeah.
farts, you have to go, "Oh fuck."
I mean, tastes like pork, from what I understand.
I thought it was chicken.
No, because human flesh is more like pig
Let's
skin.
continue.
yeah. This is something we need to test out here.
Yeah. I want to know your readings on. We could talk about Friday the 13th Part 2, or we could keep talking about Matt thinks human flesh tastes like.
Well, a friend of mine dropped his soldering iron and grabbed it by the just instinctively reached out and grabbed it by the hot pointy end, and he said that his room was smelling like bacon. So,
Did he taste it?
what, his burning skin? Probably.
All right, let's start diving into this thing today. Today we were doing Friday the 13th Part 2. Came a lot of years later after Friday the 13th Part 1. A whole, what was it, 10 months?
Year.
Yep.
Like not even a full year, I don't think. Like they slammed this fucking thing out.
They play him like the next three. Like 1, 2,
They-
3 came out 80, 81, 82.
I mean, why not, right? Give the people what they want. They want more Jason.
I think it's more give the studio what they want, and it's money.
Well,
Yeah.
And these things were hits. I mean, at least for how much they cost. They weren't like box office like takeovers, but they spent like nothing on them, and then they made enough back to make this a worthwhile endeavor. This one did
Like
have-
adjusted for inflation, didn't the first one make 100 plus million off of like a $500,000 budget or
yeah.
something?
Mhm.
Which is the crazy profit margin.
Oh yeah, no, the first one was huge. I mean, but it's also give the people what they want. They wanted more Halloween style horror movies, and there was no other Halloweens out there. So Friday the 13th came in and sated that want. So and now the race is on between all the horror franchises, because now we got Nightmare on Elm Street kicking up right after this, and they're like, all right, we're all going nuts. And what a time to be
Wasn't-
alive.
Wasn't that just after 4 though? Because
Or was
it was
yes.
84
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm
I'm
Street
speaking
came
more
out.
in generalities, not in exact specific
Oh,
dates.
okay.
But Halloween 2 did come out the same year.
Matt's a man of
Yes.
specificity. Yeah, that's
Specificity,
it.
yeah.
That's it. All right.
Words are hard.
They are.
Mhm.
Good thing we're on a medium that requires them. Anyhow, so let's get started. Friday the 13th Part 2, more of the same, but also a little bit different, because they have to answer that incredibly difficult question of, we killed our killer, who's going to be the murderer this time? And from what I understand, it was the shortest of short meetings of like, well, it'll be Jason. That just makes sense.
Yep.
All right. Yep. Move on. All right, let's shoot this thing.
Well, the funny thing is, though, like the Jason coming out of the water at the end of the first one was a very last minute thing, if I remember rightly as well. They were like, "Oh, we want like a one last sort of scare," and it's kind of like if they don't have that in, then where would they have gone? Like, would they have still gone with Jason or?
I think they could have, because they still do kind of hint that like he could be out there. I mean, not really. I don't know. I still think it was the right call. Like, obviously.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think they probably would have ended there either way, because it's one of those like revenge for mom. I think makes a lot of sense, and that's really how this movie kicks off. Is poor Alice.
Yeah,
she gets revenged really hard, but not before we have a previously on that goes for quite a while. And the only reason this movie hits its hour and a half runtime is like the 5 to 10 minutes it has to recap the movie we just saw less than a year ago. They do that quite a few times.
They really don't have faith in their audience, do they?
No, like
No.
I don't want to say they all do it, but most of them do it to a degree. Not always this bad, or this one I don't think is as bad, because this one feels more like a montage of the previous movie. Whereas like when we get to like part 3, it's just like, here's the last 10 minutes again. Enjoy.
and legitimately after that, the part 3 is like an hour and 15 minutes without that shit.
Yep. Yeah. Like it clearly feels like a way to pad some runtime, because like, what do we have here for story? I don't know. Kids are here and they're gonna get fucking murked.
But that's the thing as well. Like these films, the continuity wise,
that and then film shit later.
You don't need to know what happened in the previous film for the most part in these films as well. It's not like there's a really long like through line that goes through, because like the continuity is all over the place anyway. Because like this one, they're talking about how it's been 5 years. It's like 5 years. Has it? It's been 10 months since the first film came out.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 5 years.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be 5 years. I mean, I guess I get that, but it's also like, okay, so nothing changed.
But in Jeff's story, it's 2 months when Alice died, and then it's 5 years. So it's because he goes that because he talked about how Alice went missing 2 months after everything when he's telling
That's right.
Yeah, Jason kills her like right away, and then he kind of disappears for like 5 years. Yeah,
he just goes and sits in the water for a bit.
Yeah, and he sits in his shack. He doesn't sit in the water.
So really, it's 1985.
Yeah. And then for those of you keeping track, this movie starts, I believe, Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, but when I've looked this up before, this one starts on Thursday the 12th. Midnight is Friday the 13th. The next movie takes place all day during Friday the 13th, and then part 4 takes place on Saturday the 14th.
I think so.
I think that's how it's supposed to work out, because this is basically just 3 days of absolute fucking hell.
Yes.
For poor Jason, he gets the shit kicked out of him
and he keeps coming back.
Doesn't anybody think of poor Jason? Like,
I never thought I'd be here.
Attention.
Never thought I'd be here hearing that Jason's a tragic figure.
He is. He saw his mom beheaded, and all he wanted was revenge.
Yeah, like just that little thing.
I do like in the previce one when they show the beheading, they cut just before you see the hairy hands.
The huge hands.
I like the toothpicks. I like the toothpicks.
Oh, the toothpicks in that. Yeah, those are good too.
That's my favorite.
It's the problem when you're just thinking slow motion. It's like, oh, they're actually going to see a bit more of that. I didn't think of that.
Yep. Oh yeah, it looks like some lovely cake.
Is it cake? Yes, it is.
Mama Voorhees head cake. I like that.
Because what you were saying in terms of continuity, at the start of 3, he's still wearing the same rags, but then he takes some of Harold's clothes, which we'll get to.
Yeah, we'll get to Harold. Yeah. I love Harold. But
we'll get
next
to the part
problem.
3.
Yeah, when we get to part 3, we'll get to Harold. But today, let's stick with part 2. So this one does pick up with Alice from the first one. That's her name, right? I always get her name wrong.
Yeah, Alice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Alice, the final girl from part 1, she's going through some shit. She's in her home. She's doing some art therapy. She's having some real nasty flashbacks to a lot of stuff she wasn't there for. That's okay.
She's psychic.
Busted for her. But this is really like, I really, really like Friday the 13th part 2. I should get that out there. We didn't really do hot takes on this one because I just wanted to dive into it because I'm so excited about it. I really like part 2. I think part 2 is kind of more of a fun slasher. It's more willing to like try new things. It feels more forgive the term campy, but it works. And it starts kind of right out the gate where like the first movie got us so used to whenever we see like a POV shot, we're Mrs. Voorhees and we're going to go fucking kill a teenager. This movie turns it on its head, like right from the get-go. And I really enjoy it. So Alice has her whole conversation with her mom. She goes in the bathroom to get changed. Producers are real thirsty in this movie. We'll get to that later. So she gets changed. She goes to the shower. And as she's getting changed and walking to the shower, the camera just stops. And then it follows her into the shower, much like when we used to get the Mama Voorhees shots. And then like the curtain just rips open. You think it's her about to get killed, and it's just her getting out of the shower. Camera's just faking you out. It's like, this movie is getting more clever. I enjoy this.
I like this film a lot more than the first one as well, just because it's the characters seem a bit more to them. Really, like in the first one, it was just kind of more like camper number 1, camper number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one, like the characters have more of an actual personality to them. Like Ted, the guy with like always doing the pranks and stuff like that. There's more of a personality there.
Yeah,
and like same with like Paul and Ginny as well.
Which I'm really sick of hearing Paul's name about halfway through the movie, but otherwise I agree with you.
Well, yeah. Paul. But yeah, and Ginny, like, just throwing it out there, Ginny is probably one of the most intelligent characters in terms of like, you know, like how she sort of like works and stuff like that. When we get towards the end, it's really sort of like, it's really clever what she does and like how she sort of like her mind works in that. And it reminds me a little bit of what we were talking about with Halloween films with Laurie, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, that kind of like really, you know, the Girl Scoutness, the being prepared and stuff like that. And it was quite nice, sort of like seeing a character that was a bit stronger. Whereas with Alice in the first one, she was just running away for a lot of it, and it was kind of like she would fight when she had to, whereas Ginny had that a little bit, but she sort of, it wasn't like panicked fighting. It was like, I'm going to use my mind a little bit.
Well, also, she's dealing with something way different than Alice was. Like, Alice dealt with a pretty intense woman there at the end, but only like as she kind of like started like losing, essentially. Like when Mrs. Voorhees was like, oh, this one's a little bit harder to kill. That's when it started ramping up. Jason is a fucking insane person in this. Like, he has no chill whatsoever. When he's going after somebody, it's this full-blown sprint. He might as well be like waving his arms like a child. It's like, I'm gonna fuck you. So it's like, she had a little bit
do
more
that one bit.
Kinda, but she has a little bit more of an intense villain after her.
When Jason's running, I was just like, because it's always like hunched shoulders, like
yeah, not to jump, but later on when they're in the shack and you can see him in the window like bobbing up and down.
I fucking love it.
I'm coming to get you.
I'm gonna murder. I'm gonna murder.
We've already talked about it. That was the shot that we had mentioned last week that freaked the fuck out of me. It was that shot. There's something about just like, oh, we're in a room, we're good, and then just that it's that constant pressure, like just out the window. He's already sprinting at you, and it's like, Jesus Christ, this thing is insane.
Yep, and he's getting more methodical. Sort of in 3, and that's one of the like the only major takeaway I get from 3 is that. But like this one, I like that he's running around. He's not your conventional horror villain, like, you know, you think slow and methodical, but Jason's just sitting here running marathons trying to get you.
Well, I mean, by 3 he's a lot more injured in 3. He's got that huge fucking wound in his shoulders. He's got to slow down a little bit.
Because that's the sort of like the difference between Jason and Michael Myers. Like Michael Myers is just always just walking. Whereas like Jason, especially in this film, is he does actually run, and it's like it's the kind of the opposite of the Terminator as well. Like the Terminator is very kind of like, and we're going to walk towards you, whereas Jason is just like, oh, I've seen you, oh, I want you, and it's just like he's not afraid to just kind of like run, and it's I don't know, like it can be more terrifying.
They still show him stalking every once in a while, but you're right. Once he gets a bead on his target, very little is going to stop him from pursuing. It goes from 0 to 100 very quickly. Yeah. And it's a different flavor. And I appreciate that it's a different flavor because it gives him a distinctiveness in a way that some movies don't have.
And that doesn't
like
hold.
when he's moving that
once
fast,
we get to
he's...
sorry, go ahead, Matt.
I was just saying, like, because of his sheer size as well, like when he's coming barreling towards you, it's like a tank coming at full speed towards you as well. Like,
oh yeah,
you can imagine that if there's a door gets closed, he'll just go straight through the door. And like the thing that we were talking about as well with once he's got like the bead on you and he's going for it, it's almost like it's like a child that can't wait. You know, like if a child sees something once, it's like, oh, I want it now, I want it now, I want it now. That's kind of like Jason. He's still got like the mind of a child, really, just a child who likes murdering.
Well, and he's really creative and clever in a lot of spots too through this movie. Like I can appreciate the I feel like Michael Myers is very like one track, and I don't mean that as an insult, but I mean like he has a certain MO where Jason, he's just a wild animal. Like, and he, it's.
Well, I think that's ultimately what they're trying to portray is this is someone who, and the line is not clear. We don't know if Jason survived and lived fearless, or if this was just someone who was just out in the woods living their life, saw Mrs. Voorhees, saw that happen. I don't know. That's for you in your brain, but regardless of how you interpret it, this is someone who has grown up with no love or anything, or maybe if it was somebody that was living in the woods and Miss Voorhees like fed it, I don't know, but take it as you will. This is someone,
and if it is like, sorry, just to jump in there, like if it is just some random person who's living in the woods, if she found this person around the time that her son died, it made sense that she would call him Jason and just kind of like basically bring like adopt him and like and like, oh, Jason, like almost like as a coping mechanism.
Yeah, and this is a guy who's shitting in a rather clean toilet in the woods.
He takes care of his toilet. Nothing else. Takes care of his toilet.
Just the toilet. But no, I mean
like, you've got to be able to eat off your toilet bowl.
Yeah, it just makes sense to have this person be so feral and so just belligerent in what he's doing in terms of making sure someone's dead in the worst possible way.
Yeah,
because
it made sense if you consider when he dies, it's like stunted growth. You know, his life ended at childhood. That's about where he's going to reach in terms of maturity.
Right.
Yeah. Luckily my child is not that murder heavy, but I see what Joel's saying. But
well, I hope he hasn't had life altering trauma yet.
We'll see. I like the addition of yet. Like, you could have just said, I hope he hasn't had life altering trauma. You didn't have to add the yet. Like, no, his life altering trauma can come a bit later. It will happen. He'll have some.
Matt, when or if you decide to become a parent, you'll understand.
Yeah, I think the best contribution I can make to society is my decision not to breed.
But dialing it way back. So like I can talk Jason all day because obviously we're doing a whole podcast about him. I really want to get in the fact that like it's great that this version of Jason exists for these 3 movies, because then he's fucking gone and we get a whole different version of Jason, and that's gonna be a lot of fun too. But dialing it way back. So we jumped way ahead of ourselves. I want to get kind of back in like the kills and kind of move through this movie, because we skipped over when I did my list of favorite kills, the first kill in this movie has made my list many, many times. Alice's murder in the beginning of this movie is so abrupt and kind of horrifying. I love it. Like, it's just, you see her going through art therapy, you see her talking to her mom. She thinks she's fine. She finally gets like the cat scare, like the classic like cat jumping through the window, like, ah, you damn cat. And then she opens the refrigerator and there's the fucking head she lopped off. And it's like, oh fuck. And then just that grab of the head and just the ice pick through the temple. Just like, god damn. It's just so brutal, so fast.
And they show it in and out too, right?
Yeah.
And it's a split second. It's a very smart kill, and something that wasn't quite as apparent in the first movie. I wish that they did not spend 10 minutes on a preamble for a character that just gets murked right up front, right? Just
it's a shock to you, because if you compare Friday the 13th to Halloween, now Halloween has basically had the same kind of character. Like coming in and out, but the same victim as it was throughout, like Laurie Strode. Like, and this was, I think this was like trying to like doing this opening. Well, I think originally they intended on having her coming back again anyway, but the actress didn't want to because she'd had some weird stalker dude or something.
I like the bait and switch. To be clear, I like the fooling that like you think this is going to be a mainstay, or at least somebody who shows up throughout the movies. It's the preamble. Like they waste too much time in front of it. They could have turned that montage into a 30-second thing, and you get the same thing out of it. But
we wouldn't have got an hour and a half film. You've only got an hour and 20-minute film. So
you say that like it's a bad thing.
No, I know.
But yeah, I totally approve of the kill. I think it's probably one of the most shocking, even if it's just so quick and abrupt to where they don't show much in the way of blood or anything, but you can feel like that.
Oh
the
yeah,
it's just like ow.
But I
mean, my note literally says stab with an ice pick. Ouchie.
I even enjoy how they show Alice holding the ice pick, but even after the fact, Alice is making tea, and Jason takes the tea off the kettle, off the heat, because he doesn't want anybody coming in there. He just wants her to be disappeared. Yep. And then we later, and this is the greatest continuity thing I've ever seen in a Friday the 13th movie. In the shrine later, you see a corpse, completely skeletoned out, like it's been 5 years, in a robe with an ice pick in its head.
Yep.
So I thought that was perfect.
He took his trophy home, just his dead trophy.
Yep. I mean, it's like an entire shrine with then Mama's head in the
effigy.
And for some reason, he also kills the girl who skinny dips, or he keeps the girl who skinny dips later. Like that body he keeps too.
Well, he saw her naked.
Well, he sees a lot of people naked, to be fair. There's a reason Hooters is in our
producers.
title.
The producers make sure he sees a lot of people naked.
All right, well, let's bring that up really quick. Clearly, this movie's way more thirsty than the movie before. I'm not sure if everybody else picked on that, but it seems like bras were forbidden on set. And we're Kelly's comment run as much as possible.
Kelly's comment was, obviously this is made by a man. That was her comment. But you could also tell like which characters refuse to do it too, right? Because there's a clear sex scene partway through where it's like it's very intentional camera shots to avoid showing anything.
I think she was underage. That's she looks
really underage. That's the other thing too. I'm a little uncomfortable with how young these people
like look. The girl who gets pinned to the bed with her boyfriend. She looked she looked too young.
She's 16. She was 16 when this was filmed. She
called it.
She was 18.
Yeah.
If I remember rightly, like they didn't realize at the time because she faked an ID or something.
Yeah.
So they were actually she was actually nude.
She had a full frontal. She had a full frontal scene.
Jesus,
and they cut it. Good for them.
Good call. No one wants to see that.
At least they cut it when they found out that she was 16. Like I can imagine there'd be some producer out there going, "Nah, boobs, that'll bring people in."
Oh my god, it's. But like I think you're talking about the Jenny scene. I think Amy Steele was like, "Nope, not doing it," and that's why they cut to Ralph, our friend Ralph, who meets his demise.
Poor Ralph. Ralph just wanted to let people know they're doomed, and his understudy.
He's just trying to be the harbinger.
He's just letting you know, man. And then his replacement in the next movie is nowhere near as good. Just holding out his weird thing at the camera. We'll get to that next week.
3D.
Yeah, it's supposed to be an eye.
I'm so excited for next week.
I'm not.
I actually like the 3D stuff, even when you watch it in 2D, because it looks so funny. Because you could just see that. Woo!
Oh yeah. We'll get to that next week. We gotta get through 2. Where were we?
Counselor training camp.
Counselor training camp. I really enjoy the kids getting to know each other in this one.
Yes.
Like they feel like much more well-rounded characters in this. Like they were there in the first movie. Like I enjoyed them, but this one, like I love the somewhat pervy guy who's so like, I'm gonna bang that chick. Like she is super hot. I shot her in the ass earlier and she didn't hate me. This is on, and he's just not gonna let it go. And I even like that, like he even tries different things. Like he goes up to her, like asks her to dance, and she's like, no. He's like, what about the dog? And then you see him later dancing with the dog. It's like, this guy gets it. The way to the woman's heart is through her pets. Like, come on, it's not that hard.
I think this was the perfect setup. Everything from Jeff and Sandra coming in and their car getting towed, and then realizing that it's a joke from Ted.
Yeah.
And then
I like how they set up Ted's character immediately in there, like, he's going to be the comedy dude.
Yep. But then they do a really good job of showing these kids. You get to understand them. Like Mark, Mark's the only guy I sympathize with. The only guy. Poor Mark. Yeah. But like Vicky, she comes on strong, but it makes sense. She's just very in your face. You've got everything about it. It just works. They're there to learn how to be counselors for the upcoming summer season. And it's amazing to see how this movie allows us to actually care a little about or understand the characters and not just have them be cannon fodder, because they legitimately are cannon fodder, because the characters that are focused on, whether it's Mark, Sandra, Vicky, Sandra, who's the girl? I forget Terry. Yeah, they're the ones that have to stay at camp, and those are the ones, while the rest of them just to go out and have a good time. So you get this little snippet of counselor life, especially eating s'mores around the campfire, learning the rules,
the ghost story.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then one of the most famous ghost stories in the entire series is this guy telling the story about Jason.
Yes. Yeah. So then when it's time to go, Storm's coming, and it's time for, hey, we gotta go. But Sandra and Jeff, you have to stay because
you ran off to
go look at Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect way to bring in the cop's death, because the cop comes and says you got to keep these kids on a leash, and then to see him come in to be murdered, to understand like there's that looming presence, is fantastic storytelling, and 2 doesn't get enough credit for that.
What struck me too is the cast here is like double.
Yes.
What the first movie. And in spite of that, they're still able to flesh out all these characters beyond just archetypes.
Right.
And I thought it was very smart to separate them, because then it winnows it down back to like, these are your main players in this horror story. Yeah. And just very, very good. A lot better than I expected.
Right.
Yeah. I think some of that probably comes from like the director as well, like Steve Miner. I think this film is directed a lot better than the first one. I mean, no offense to Sean Cunningham, I just don't think he's that great a director.
Yeah, really. Halloween H2O. Oh yeah, we did it already.
Yeah.
But what that was the thing. Like, you have Steve Miner who's really, he's kind of like on it, and it kind of like, he knows how to give you enough on those characters to, give you sympathy for them and make you care about them, and give them personalities. It's not just like, this guy here, that guy there, that girl there, these boobs,
and probably a testament to the writing too, because we're going beyond just like, hey, we're here, let's smoke doobies and play strip Monopoly.
These kids smoke better pot than I do.
Joel, you accidentally just quoted Jason X, just so you know.
Yeah.
But no, I agree.
It like when he's doing the campfire scene as well, and it's like this Friday the 13th, and it's like it might as well just like wink at the camera at that point as well, because he properly emphasizes like, this Friday the 13th.
Really nice. Mm-hmm. I also like going back to like that campfire scene when like they're doing the super like in this very camp and this thing happened, blah 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 blah, and then Ted jumps out with a mask on.
Yeah,
like, Ted, this goofball guy from the beginning of the movie, he's standing there, I'm like, fuck man, Ted is shredded. God damn. Like, I know this movie's mostly full of eye candy for women, but go Ted. Or sorry, eye candy for men. You know what I mean? But Ted's got it.
Well, women can like boobs too.
I mean, that's
You've not heard of lesbians.
I mean, straight women like boobs. Everyone likes boobs. It's okay.
That's true.
The people who make Friday the 13th really like boobs.
They might say they're a connoisseur.
Yeah.
A boobasaur. Maybe.
Just sounds
like
the more
popular dinosaurs.
All right, so where are we like plot wise? So the kids are all starting to get to know each other. This is probably around the time that like Jeff and Sandra are off they're heading off into the woods. They find the mutilated dog that we later find out isn't what's her name's dog.
Muffin.
Muffin.
Isn't Muffin.
Just
It's
happens
just
to be the exact same
some other
breed of
white
dog.
fluffy dog that Jason decided to completely gut and leave on the side of the path. Like, Jesus Christ, Jason, you have no chill.
It's like something's living. Must murder.
Going to murder the fuck out of it.
Look at the name tag. You're in my world now.
Oh, it's pretty great. Oh, did we skip the cop? I think we actually skipped the cop.
I think that's at the point where the cop is there. Because
the movie spends an odd amount of time on the cop. Like for a movie that only really has about 120 minutes to itself, it spends like 15 of them on the cop.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I mentioned. Like you get the kids, but then to show that they're still a menace, you get the cop's death.
Yeah, and the cop's death is like, it's fun. It's oddly similar to Halloween 2, which I like that Friday 13 Part 2 and Halloween 2 have a very similar kill with like the claw hammer. Except this one's to the back of the head instead of the front of the head.
This time through, I got some real First Blood vibes.
I can see
just
that.
chasing him through the woods, and it's like, yo, this cop is tracking Jason very well through these woods as well.
Yeah. And then it's funny thinking like where the franchise eventually goes. If this cop had pulled it off, he would have saved everyone.
Yeah.
Of course he fails, but he was that close.
But when we see what happens to Jason and like what he survives, and I don't, even if he'd had a minigun, I don't think he would have been able to save everyone.
Definitely fair. But this movie's really smart about foreshadowing. Like Joel even commented like in our offline chat, he was like, this movie does a lot of foreshadowing. And the cop does a really good job of that because we get to see Jason's house. And by showing Jason's house and then eventually him getting killed in that house, when Ginny eventually ends up there later in the movie, we know where she is, and it makes it that much more terrifying. Of like, oh, you ran the wrong way.
Yeah,
you should have zigged when you zagged.
Yeah,
and it does a really good job as well. It's like saying there's something in there which is so terrifying that like a professional police officer is a bit taken aback by it as well. So what's this going to be when this terrified woman, like terrified, like 21-year-old at most,
Ginny?
like comes across.
He's in college.
Yeah.
Child psychology.
Yeah, try a psychology major. These are a little bit older, except for the 16-year-old. I'm still baffled is in this movie.
80s were a wild time, man.
I think it was just
you're
easier
18,
to fake
right.
IDs.
Come on, get naked.
Yeah, come on in. You look young. But that piece of plastic says otherwise. We're good. Jesus Christ. 80s, man. All right, so
there's no Facebook.
If the cop's dead at this point, then this is where the camp goes. All right, who wants to live? Go to the bar. Who wants to die? Stay here.
Except you, Sandra and Jeff, you have to stay here and die. Sorry.
Yeah,
you pissed off Jason. You went into Crystal Lake. You're gonna die for that.
You're not supposed to do that. Damn it. So they stick around, and then what is it? 6 other people stick around. I think 8 people die in this.
So Terry, Scott,
yep,
Vicky, Mark, Sandra, and Jeff.
Yeah.
So 6.
Okay. 6.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there's 8 or 9 murders total in this movie, counting Alice in the beginning. 8 on this night, if I'm doing my math correctly.
Low body count, really.
Yeah, it is. Like I always thought the goal was to get 13 kills in every one of the Friday 13th movies. I don't know why they didn't do that, but whatever. It's fine. I'm not upset about it at all.
Well, that was the sort of like the urban legend of like all the urban myth about all these ones. Oh, they all have 13 kills. Like the first one didn't even have 13 in it.
Nope.
So like falling at the first hurdle there.
I think that I honestly think that myth started because the trailer starts out like that. Like 1 person dies, 2 person dies. And it's like, oh, okay, so that's where this is going. And then no one cared to do the math until much later. But I do like that
average.
When did Ralph get killed in this? Is it around this time? Or
he gets killed. No, he gets killed.
He gets killed before the cop.
Before the cop. That's right.
Before they even go into Crystal Lake, because he's just kind of like out there, and then he gets like barbed wire or something.
Barbed wire chokehold.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoyed about the movie is it's showing you that there's something there, but he doesn't go ham until like it just shows how smart they're making the killer. They don't want this, so he's being smart in the manner in which he's picking off people. He's not waiting. He knows that there's a crowd. So he's like, okay, I'm going to get this one, get my kicks off. Ooh, there's a cop that just came from the lake. I'm going to run past the road, see if he'll chase me. So I thought it was very well done how they made the killer smart.
Smart and still super aggressive. Like,
Yes.
yeah. No, I like that. I also really like the Ralph kill, like that. The barbed wire around the thing that like cuts into his neck. It's a good juicy kill.
Yep.
And then when they find his body as well, he's in the pantry, which
was where they found him the first time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He was hiding in the pantry to give him a bit of a scare, and it's like, you know, he's still doing it even though he's dead.
Oh, Ralph.
He died doing what he loves.
Yeah.
Terrifying children.
Hiding in pantries.
All right, so I guess we're at the murder show now, aren't we?
Yeah, pretty
Pretty
much.
much, yeah.
We got the girl getting naked, go swimming by herself, being creeped on by the guy in the woods. We got Mark and what's her name? Ryan's much better at these names than I am, but the girl
Mark
who's
and
like
Terry
Mark and Terry. Terry's like,
No,
I am going.
No, Terry's the one at the
is
lake.
naked. Oh yeah, you're right. Terry's
Vicky's the
not
one
Terry,
Vicky
and Mark.
and
Sandra.
Mark, yeah. Vicky is so thirsty for Mark,
Yes.
and Mark doesn't seem to be picking up on it the majority of the movie. Like
It's because he's training. He's training, Brian.
Vicky is like, get up in here, and he's like, nice weather we're having.
She could literally sit on his face and he'd be like,
I can't breathe.
yeah. He'd be
What
like,
do I do?
So, do you know any games that we can play here? Any good
How do you
board
feel
games?
about Yahtzee?
I felt
Marco!
that was uncomfortably relatable,
Oh
to
yeah,
be honest.
like I do enjoy it. Like it's a funny thing to include in a movie like this, is because especially like when we're watching these things, like as we get through all of them, it becomes abundantly clear, like what Joel's wife said, these movies are made by men, and there's a lot of like, check out this chick, and a lot of guys are superly overly confident. We'll get that a lot next week. This one doesn't have that. I mean, this one has this guy who's a good looking guy. He seems charismatic, and this girl's like, gimme, and he's like, she surely can't mean me, and she's like, no, get in me, and he's like, nah, I can't be right about this, and like
She even has the part where she's just like, is it just your legs that are parallel?
I think at that point he's starting to pick up on it.
Yeah.
starting
Like,
kind of
yeah.
like
She's been
blushes a
rubbing
little,
herself
like-
up against him for a while. And he's like, this isn't working. Let me like literally spell it out. Does your dick work?
I've been humping your shoulder for 2 hours. Like, come on.
I want to go to Pound Town, and I don't care if we go on your wheelchair.
What I like about her as well is like Vicky, like when she goes to put on her sexy outfit, she changes out of some black pants into some brown ones. Never in the history of humanity has anyone said, yeah, I like the sexy brown ones.
Matt, it's okay. She puts cologne or puts perfume.
Oh Lord.
Everywhere.
Jason could smell her from a mile
He
away.
had to reek.
I mean, like, I'm just thinking as well, like, surely she's going to get thrush from spraying it down there as well. Don't spray that there.
But
Like,
also,
that's not
like,
good. You
Mark
get
would be
specific
like,
stuff
oh,
for that area.
Mark would be like, oh, never mind. Like, I was really excited about this, but you got to shower or something, because fuck, you reek.
You're
It's just like
clearly hiding
It's that
something.
thing. What's that smell? And it's like, just like, it's getting stronger. And she just like walked through the door going, oh my God, what is that?
But unfortunately, Mark doesn't get a chance to smell her because he gets a little macheted in the face. And by little, I mean a whole bunch of macheted in the face. Just one good thwack, and then he's falling down the stairs somehow.
Yeah, he goes down like 2 small steps, and then there just happens to be like a giant staircase behind him where the machete is now like stapled to his face or something.
I noticed that too, like the makeout of this building. Like it's just like sitting peacefully by the lake, and there's 900 stairs behind him. Mark just happens to park his wheelchair, which has no wheelchair accessible ramp.
Nope.
80s.
Yep.
No, I actually did see there is one wheelchair accessible ramp, and it's to go into the hut. There's like a little ramp that he goes, and I remember seeing.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's
not to get on the porch though.
Yeah, definitely not to get down those stairs either. I also want to know how that shot ended, because clearly it did not end as intended because they do a whiteout with it.
I am so sure that like it was supposed to end with him stopping at the bottom and then going flying into the lake off the chair or something.
Something like that. But this movie
because
does
he gets
quite
some speed.
He does, and then like you could just kind of tell the movie's like this shot doesn't end well. Fade to white. We're done. Moving on to the next kill. And the next kill is who's after Mark?
You skipped over
Scott and Terry die before that, don't they?
Which you don't
they do, don't they?
You don't see Terry's, but you see Scott's.
Mm-hmm. Well,
he deserved it.
He
Scott
did.
and Terry. Okay, so I always get the other two mixed up because this movie just kind of becomes a series of murders, and getting them in order is a bit of a trick for my brain. I've seen them all so many times. As you listened last week, I thought this was part of 3, so my brain is it's all Jason. Segmenting it gets a little difficult.
Jason,
yeah, different Jason. Scott and Terry though, like they're. First off, the skinny dipping is just kind of ridiculous. Whatever, it's clearly there just to make people go like, "Whoa, naked lady!"
Really naked lady.
Yeah, very naked lady. Some of the most naked that anyone gets in these movies, but good for her. She really worked on that body, and it showed. Congratulations. The dude, on the other hand, is being a fucking asshole. Steals her clothes, tries to run away, so she glues a towel to her chest somehow.
It's that lake water. Like you shouldn't be going.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be swimming in that.
But then he comes across one of, is it Ted's traps? Is that what they say it was?
Yeah, but I think it's Jason.
Well, they say that it's Ted's traps, but like as a prank. But I think it's actually something that Jason set up.
I'm trying to say it's like part of the wilderness survival. Maybe how to catch food.
I like to believe that it's Ted's trap because in my mind it makes it funnier when Jason finds him later. So like Jason's like stalking them. And then he comes across Scott in a tree, and he's just like, "That's a freebie. I'm gonna take that neck in on my way." It's
just like he's standing there going, "Huh, I didn't realize there was a kebab store here."
Thank you. And moving on.
Don't really have to stalk this one. I'm just gonna by the hair and.
Well, and at this point, the trap might have been like a tad too smart for a Jason, right? Because he has very smart like kill moments, but they didn't exhibit the kind of like I'm going to pre-plan this stuff about.
Yeah, this one definitely feels like I think they were right, and this was a setup by the camp. You could be right too. I don't really know. Just like the whole like, is this Jason from Mama Voorhees or not? I think it is. Other people can interpret differently. But I think this could be Ted's trap or somebody else's their trap, because I love the idea of just Jason just walking by like, I love killing teenagers. It's my favorite. There's one in a tree. Moving on. What a great day. Like,
he's an opportunist.
Like, I love that.
He's like, teenagers, where are you? Where have they gone? I want to kill them. I want to kill. Oh,
it's like
there's one dangling from a tree.
It's like Animal House when the girl gets on the bed or gets thrown on the bed. Thank you, God.
Yeah. All right, so and then we don't see
Terry's death. We see her in the shrine later, but we don't.
Yeah, she's in the shrine room later, but we don't ever see her die.
No.
Just like a close of her face and she screams, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that sounds right. You broke up there a little bit, but we got the end point.
It's fine.
All right, so is that everyone until Ginny comes
Sandra
back?
and Jeff.
Oh, Sandra.
Vicky.
Boy, Sandra and Jeff, I always kind of forget about because it's just such a quick one and done. And clearly, now that we have the information that she was 16, they're shooting around a lot of what was in that scene and just kind of cutting around it. Thank you. We don't want to see that. But I do like it's yet again another moment for Jason in this movie where he walks into a room. He's like, 2 for 1 freebie.
And there's this spear here, which he uses again later when he tries to get Paul.
He does, yeah.
But that was definitely a big like, okay, that's going to be used somehow. The chainsaw earlier, that's going to be used somehow.
Yep.
Like they've got these set pieces. They clearly give you like the breadcrumb of just wait for it. It's coming.
What I like about the chainsaw though is they're like, you immediately thinking, oh, Jason's going to kill someone with that. But then they don't do it that way.
Nope.
It's Ginny uses it, and apparently Jason's arm is metal because it sparks and stops working.
It's Jason. Don't worry about it. But also, that's the only time you ever see Jason have like, oh shit face. Like it's one of those great, like, just, oh.
Yeah, he just like there's a lot of kind of like, oh fuck in this film from Jason, actually.
He emotes really well with his body. Like for
does.
somebody that has a mask on their face all the time, he's so expressive with how he reacts to things. It's very good.
He might be my second favorite Jason.
Yeah. What?
Brian really doesn't like the sackhead.
No. This is I just thank you, Paramount, for getting rid of all the stuff that was inappropriate.
Yeah.
I'm upset because that could have been a very good set piece. You do get to see, like, in the unedited, you do get to see like the spear going into Jeff as they are sandwiched together, but the lead up to Vicky's, there's a lot cut out there too, because I feel like they only showed her hair. We get less when Jason comes out of the bed because she was naked. But damn, I think that would have been a very good, that the tension in Vicky's death with seeing Sandra's head in the bed in another shape. I just, thank you, Paramount, for doing what you're doing. Fuck the person that played Sandra for lying about your age.
Yeah. What could have been some pretty fucking cool kills.
Yes.
Just to get a movie that, unless you're a horror fan, you're probably not watching.
Yes.
Friday the 13th 2 is not on a lot of people's lists.
Right.
Should
be. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Better than the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Probably my top 3.
Yeah, this one's pretty high up there for me. I like this one a lot. Let's keep getting through these kills. Who else have we? Who's
Vicky.
next?
Vicky's
the last one.
She comes in the house, everyone's dead.
Oh, that's right. She's the one who does the paralyzed with fear kill.
Yeah.
No,
Those are
I'm gonna hold
those are my wife's absolute least favorite kills in any horror movie. Just the stand there and please don't. Oh, you did. She's not a fan of those. And I don't blame her. They're not the most engaging to watch. I don't really like the whole, there's a lot of
they might be some of the most realistic, but they're not enjoyable. They're not satisfying. You want somebody with a sense of agency.
Yeah.
It's too realistic. It's too horrific in that, you're watching someone who's literally paralyzed with fear, knowing they're about to die and just basically panicking, and that's not entertaining to watch.
No.
The stuff that's entertaining to watch is some dude getting hung up and swinging around, and then it's I'm gonna come and chop your head off. But
the first movie knows how to do that with Kevin Bacon, though. He had the paralyzed with fear moment, but you also had the creative kill, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's paralyzed with fear with an arrow through his neck.
Well, they don't even show Vicky's death. You get the slice on the leg. She comes in. She thinks she sees Sandra and Jeff. She goes there, but Jason pops up, slashes her on the leg. She discovers Jeff's body, and then that's it. We don't even see her get stabbed. We see a blood packet get broken in her mouth. That's it.
Yeah, that's really it.
It's if you're gonna do something like this, paralyzed for fear, bring the emotion. Show her die. That's just
this is where it sort of starts to scream a little bit of MPAA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of oh well, you got away with so much in the first one. We're gonna make you pay in the second one. Kind of like what they did with Phantasm, a little bit, where they making them cut it out. The famous thing with Phantasm 2 is you can have 12 frames of blood coming out of that ball. 12 frames. It's not half a second. Thanks.
The uncut one is so much better.
It is. It's so good.
It's so juicy.
My favorite balling is the uncut one. It's so good.
Yeah. Man, I think mine's is that the one where it works its way up through the dude's body and out his mouth?
There is an uncut version of that where you actually see it going in through his back, but it's the same film.
Yeah,
I was thinking the priest though, because the
priest.
Yeah,
the actor Anyway,
that's a good one.
That's a different second film.
Yeah, go listen to Reggie's 4-barrel ice cream. That was a fun one. All right, so now we're to the point where Paul and Ginny are coming back and finding the camp just in fucking disarray. Jason is.
It's Ginny who finds Ralph in the pantry as well.
Yep,
I'd forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
So we've not even got to the point where Ralph's dead body's fallen out yet.
No, I mean, but the rest of it does kind of 60 miles per hour, just immediate, just we're sprinting for the end of this thing. Once Ginny and Paul show up, and that's really
it's that kind of really. They managed to they're sprinting, but they also do a really good job of building tension again, because you have Ginny and Paul coming back and they find like the camp's empty, like what the hell's going on? They go into the bedroom, there's just blood everywhere, and like, is this some kind of prank or what the fuck is going on? And then you get the sort of like Jason like jumping out and him.
Well,
and
I like that too, because it's genuinely like the power goes out, but she's like, there's someone in the room. So like she knows. That was perfect.
Yeah. It is. I wrote it down. That might be my favorite line in Friday the 13th. Like in the entire franchise, Paul, there's somebody in the room, like, or there's someone in this room. It's so fucking good. And then he stands up and she doesn't know what to say. So she just says it again. There's someone in this fucking room. And it's just like, she doesn't know what to say exactly. It's so tense. It's so well done. Like you could see it on like one of those like Friday 13th movie posters. Paul, there's someone in this room. Like you could see it. It's just perfect. And she delivers it so well. There's reasons Ginny's my favorite final girl. I don't want to spoil the list fucking 10 weeks from now, but there's reasons she's my favorite. Like she's so fucking good. And she just sells that, like just that fear in her voice. You can hear it. And it's just done so well.
It's quite interesting as well that like this being the second in the series has one of the best performances as well. Like the performance in the first one, they were okay, but like in the second one, it's almost like they were like we want to get a really really good actor who can sell these lines for this one, and she does a phenomenal job of it because like you said, like that Paul, there's someone in this room.
But even
Paul is in this fucking room, and it's just like
not to jump ahead, but what I'm essentially going to jump ahead. I'll just say what she does later in Jason's den.
Yeah,
that
rushes it. I mean, we're almost there anyways. Like, there's really no one left to kill anymore. They just kind of run away.
Chase. It's all chase at this point.
Yeah, it's all chase, and I don't mind the chase, but I do kind of tune out during the chase. Like, no offense to the movie, it's done really well. I've just seen it so many times that like when we get to
the chases in this one through the woods seem to go on quite a lot. Like the sheriff chasing after Jason early on went on for a lot longer than it should have done. And it kind of speaks to that thing of like, we need to get to 90 minutes for this. It's that very kind of 80s thing is like, we need the film to be 90 minutes long. It's like, well, we've only got an hour and 20, an hour and 15 at most. And it's like, okay, put more chasing through the woods and stick 10 minutes of the first full months to the front as well.
And there's a part of me that like I try to give him like the benefit of the doubt of like, you go to like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the last 45 minutes is just a girl running away from a guy with a chainsaw. That's it. That's half the movie. It's just her going, he's still there. He's still there. Like that's the whole movie. So like when you go to movies like this, it kind of harkens back to that a little bit. And I'm not sure if that's like intentional or if it is just runtime padding or maybe a little bit of both. We're going to runtime pad by running.
There really wasn't a sequence, a part of this final sequence where I felt like I'm getting bored of this though.
No.
The whole, they change up the parameters of this chase, this cat and mouse, and change the scenery enough times where it's just like, okay, this is unique. This is going to be a different kind of terror over here. And then they winnow down to that final moment inside of his shack, right?
Yeah. I think it's all smart because it doesn't show her just running around aimlessly. She's running with purpose.
Yeah.
She goes to the car, starts the car. There he is, tries to break in. She kicks the door. Like, Jenny is not a bad final girl in the fact that she's willing to fight. Whereas the next one, Chris just runs. Chris literally just runs. Yeah. She has one moment, but that we'll get to that next week.
What I like about this as well is, and again with that kind of setup thing, like we've already set up that Ginny's car's not in the best condition. So when she's like, when she's panicking and trying to get away, it's like, oh no,
again, that's that character development.
Yep.
But when she realizes, okay, she tries running, she tries escaping, she tries hiding, but that damn rat spoils it because she pisses herself.
Yeah.
But like even Jason picked up on that. So like
even Jason got fucked over in that scene. It didn't work out for him either. His chair broke when he was about to kill her. He's like, all right, and then I got it. Oh, this fucking chair.
And then his pitchfork broke.
Yeah, and his pitchfork broke.
I mean, that's what I like about this. Like, so the end chase I don't have as much of a problem with it. It's more the sheriff's one where that does seem to go on and on and on. And it's just a dude running through the woods. And it just like I think that's where I got the kind of like the first blood feeling from. It's like, just jump out at him or something, or run into some sort of weird trap because you're just running through the woods.
But I agree with you there, because I kind of had that same feeling too. Not the First Blood, but that the chase just went on too long feeling. But this one, I see what Joel and Ryan are saying, because like I don't ever get bored during it. I just tune out again because I've seen it so many times. But at the same time, like what they use is great, and this is really the only time we get this version of Jason, because the next movie he does move a lot slower. He does a lot more stalking than he does in this one, and that kind of holds throughout the rest of the franchise until he turns into zombie Jason. Then it's just a whole different version of Jason entirely, where he can like he has magical powers and he can teleport. It's nuts. Sorry, Joel, not to spoil it.
Oh, good.
But like the stuff in this that works is everything Ryan was saying. It's her running away, her calculating how to get away from him, and then the fact that he's basically a force of nature. That is something that does stick with Jason throughout all of it. You can't fight him. Like there's no winning in this fight. So when you're trying to run away and trying to calculate, he's on you at all times. Like he does not let that pressure up at all. So it keeps that chase that much more engaging. Whenever she's about
kind
to
of
get
the key
in,
difference.
And it ends the best way possible, because she gets the one up by not running, not hiding, not escaping, by outsmarting him. And going to his different level. That's what makes Jenny a more well-rounded final girl.
And again, that's also set up in the bar when she's talking with Paul and Ted about Jason, and you know, like how, you know, she's trying to sympathize with him in the bar. She's basically saying like, you know, how would you feel if, like, you know, your mother, the only person whoever gave you any love, was murdered? Like, you know, how would you react to that? And it's already setting in motion that sort of thought pattern, which then comes to fruition when she puts the jumper, and then she tries to pretend to be Mama Voorhees.
Yeah.
I feel that monologue went on a little too long, but it succeeded in making that.
The one in the bar?
Yeah.
I can see that, but it works to set up where this movie eventually goes.
Right.
So
it works as a storytelling device.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So with her in the shed, she sees the head of Mama Voorhees. She sees one of her dead friends and the skeleton of poor Alice. And her instinct is to pretend to be Mama Voorhees. And I remember the first time seeing this movie going, this is so fucking dumb, and like just not liking it at all. And then as I've watched this movie hundreds and hundreds of times, like it has slowly become one of my favorite moments in the entire franchise. Like I love that she was smart enough to not just only pretend to be Mama Voorhees, but that Mama Voorhees would be kind of a dick. And like, she was smart enough. Like if that woman went and killed a bunch of counselors, I'm guessing she was not the nicest upbringer, and she just goes for it. And I love that it works. Jason, mother is talking to you. Like, and she just, she really owns that moment, and she has to know that she has to block the head with her body the whole time, or he'll catch on to it. Like she's smart enough to know that too. And like, I think that's really cool.
And it makes sense as well, like in terms of she's tried running, that's not worked. She's now found out, oh fuck, I've run into a place where I thought I was going to be safe. I've run to his home. I basically pinned myself into the corner. What can I do now? I'm not going to make her run away from this.
This has got to be the final stand, and it's a final stand, and she thinks on her toes.
Yeah.
Two things about this sequence. A, I told you it was a blue sweatshirt because it's a blue sweatshirt in this movie.
Is it?
It's
no.
Blue. It's
I
blue.
saw sort of a gray.
Your Blu-ray copy is
it's
like
not
the
blue.
color timing must be off because it's gray.
It's not white. It's not white in the first movie.
It's gray. It's like
I'll take gray. But secondly,
not blue gray. It's white gray though. Like,
it's
no
more
blue.
like it was a white sweatshirt that's been stained by time, dirt, and blood.
Yeah. Nothing blue.
No blue.
Second thing is, I love that they brought back Betsy Palmer just for like these moments. They're like, hey, you kind of capitalized on our success. Can you give us 30 seconds? And she did. It was great. And
true professional, doesn't phone anything in. She's still great.
Yep.
Even though she hated it as well. Like, you know, I remember reading some of that, like for the first 10 years or something after the first Friday the 13th film came out, she despised it. Like, she came to like appreciate it within time, but she would like refuse to go to any sort of like conventions or anything like that about it because she hated that's what she was being known as.
I mean, I get that to a degree. Like, you spend your whole career making these wonderful films and just being a true artist, and then your entire career boils down to your Mama Voorhees. You get your head chopped off. Like, I could see that being a bit of a disappointment. But But really, without her, we're not sitting here today. Like, she's the main reason we all got obsessed with that first movie, because she's so fucking great. The gore is also kind of a major part of it, but at the same time, like, we're here because of her.
Yeah, and it's unique as well because she's one of the very few female slashers as well.
Yeah, we get her.
Like, most of these are male characters, but like, kind of flipping that thing on the head of like, oh no, it's a woman who's doing this.
You get that in Sleepaway Camp too.
Do you?
Kinda.
Not in the first one.
Kinda.
I haven't seen that, but I know the twist ending.
Kinda. Either way, we're kind of at the end of this thing here. We get to the last thing that we got to bring up before we say goodbye to this. What happened to Paul? It's an argument that has gone on for ages. The director's come out and given his answer. His answer is not in the film because Paramount recut the ending, so it is very clear that his answer is not included. By the opening of 3 changes the ending of 2, so there's a lot of different arguments. But I want to know, what do we think happened to Paul?
Can I go back and say, how did he survive the first altercation with Jason?
Luck.
That I'm willing to forgive it, but when he shows up at the end, I was just like,
a wizard did it.
How did Jason not slaughter you?
He really wanted to kill Ginny,
So,
I guess.
Here's my thing. The spear didn't work, and so he had to like strangle him or beat him, but he went after Jenny, which is a great jump scare in that moment. But when Jason busts through all deformed and with a machete sticking out of his shoulder, I think he grabbed Jenny, threw her, and then Paul's dead. I think Paul dies. Fuck, I'll even say Muffin dies. But I don't know.
He stabbed Paul with Muffin.
Yeah, I don't quite get because Jenny is alive at the end of 2. We see her getting on the stretcher being loaded in.
Yes.
So
and she says, "Where's Paul?"
Right. He grabs her, but I think Paul's still there, so he has to take care of Paul. And maybe that fight. I mean, I don't know what happened to Paul. I don't know what the director said. So Brian, you have to fill me in.
So the director says in the original cut, it's very clear that Paul is dead. However, in the 3rd movie, when they're watching the news and the newscaster, they number how many people died in 2. It leaves out Paul. Okay. So the number that we see die is 8, and they say 8. It'd have to be 9 if Paul.
But maybe like he takes the body away and they don't necessarily find it, and they're going off of, because if this takes place right after 2,
there's that possibility. But I think in Paramount's mind, Paul's alive. In Steve Miner's mind, Paul is dead. We never really get a good answer on it, and since we don't see it, it's kind of fuzzy. But
or they could have said like 8 killed and 1 missing.
Are we counting Alice though in those kills?
No, that'd be 9. So 9 people die. 8 people die at the camp. 9 in the movie. 8.
So when the reporter says 8, then that means Paul's dead.
No, it had to be 9 there too.
So Crazy Ralph, Cop, Sandra, Jeff, Terry and Scott, Vicky and Mark. So 8.
Oh yeah, I forgot Ralph. When I was counting up, I was like, well, if Paul's included in that,
they're gonna find his body in that pantry.
Yep.
Yeah.
So no Paul. Yeah, Ryan's right. Maybe they just haven't found Paul yet because it is the very first newscast. Who knows? We never see him on a stretcher, so we don't know for sure.
Maybe Jason ate Paul, and that's how the shoulder healed. So
there we go. He just absorbed him.
Paul's got magical powers.
Yeah, he went Jeepers Creepers style.
Joel, you know something about eating people.
Ryan, I've done a lot wrong in my life. Eating people is not on the list.
You didn't deny
because
it,
it's so right.
You didn't deny it.
Is me eating people the Paul of my bad actions? Is that what you're saying?
We'll never know. All he said is that he's did a lot of wrong things, and eating people is not one of them. So that could just mean he's super pro eating people.
That's what I mean. Eating people isn't wrong. It's just super right.
Yeah. It's delicious.
I'm trying to limit my problematic takes.
Let's move on to the end of this.
I mean, I have an idea on how we can solve the world hunger crisis.
Eat the world.
I can only probably feed about 3 people. That's it.
No.
Let's
just get all
move
the rich
on to the
people and
end of
literally
this.
eat them.
All right, we got favorite quotes and
my question
or
is though,
moments.
what happened to Ted? Because he just kind of like
Ted was
Stay
at
at
the
the
bar.
Stay at the bar.
No, but the last
Yeah.
time we heard, he's like any after hours places. I want to know what happened to him.
He
Like
he tried
went
to
and got
drive home
hammered.
with the truck. He got a DUI from a different cop.
Joel thought this one through.
Yeah. Ted somehow
Dude, there was like 12 bottles of beer right in front of him.
yeah, I don't think he might still be dead. It just wasn't Jason's
It
fault.
just wasn't
Very
Jason.
well. He very well, like the way he mocked that local, he could just become a resident of Crystal Lake, and he's the new harbinger, maybe.
I think he'd fit in well.
Yeah.
All right,
Great
favorite
if, like, the
quotes
next
and or
film, he's
moments.
the one going,
Quotes,
"Doom."
quotes and or moments. I'm gonna go first because I've already said mine, and it's the Paul. There's somebody in this room. I love that line. I love that moment. All of it just works. Yeah, that's it. It's great. I've already talked about it. Matt, go ahead.
Watch Brown and sits on a piano. Beethoven's last movement.
I don't remember that.
It's one of Ted's jokes.
That's one of Ted's jokes. My God.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, you took the best. You took the best line. So
That's fair. I did, but you picked one of the worst. So
yeah.
I thought you were
Well,
trying
like
to make a
that,
joke
or I
about-
was just gonna go. You're all doomed. You're all doomed.
I thought you were trying to make a joke about that girl's brown underwear. Joel, what about you?
I have both actually. My favorite quote is when Paul and Ginny show up and see the bed bleeding, and they're going down the stairs, and she says, "Paul, what's going on?" "Nothing." like the most nonchalant, like, I'm not concerned about anything, nothing. My moment is that point where Jason has the chair tumble break on him as he's
It's
trying
so
to
good.
It's so good. it's one of those moments of just like, hey, he can screw up, and this is very funny.
It's so good. All right, Ryan.
It is when Deputy Winslow is talking with Paul, and he goes, well, Paul dismisses them and says, "We'll talk at dinner." And Deputy Winslow goes, "You're not even going to reprimand them? No punishment? What kind of place is this?" And Paul just looks at Jenny and goes, "Jenny?" Jenny goes, "Yes, Paul." And Paul goes, "No seconds on dessert for Jeff and Sandra tonight." They get their punishment, Mr. Officer Dude, but you also meet your end.
Their punishment was a little extreme.
They're just trying to have a good time.
But justified.
Yeah, I mean, granted, that's probably statutory. Anyhow, maybe they did deserve it. Anyhow,
I mean, they started this. They went into Crystal Lake, and Jason came after them.
that's
It's their
also
fault.
true. Like, yeah, they did open the door too. Yeah,
Yeah.
they got what they deserved. I think that's it, right? We did it. We've accomplished it.
Yeah.
We Friday 13th part 2'd.
I believe so.
All right. So next week, you got to buckle up because it's coming right for your face. We do Friday 13th part 3, 3D. This movie does not let you forget that it's 3D at any moment. Anything they can take to try to point directly at your face, they're going to take. It's going to look horrible. You're going to see a lot of
The movie is
strings.
horrible.
The movie is okay.
Movie is horrible.
This is not like Fast and Furious 4. I'm not going to die on this hill. I just I don't think it's as bad as what Ryan says. I think once
Not a
the
good
movie once it gets going, I enjoy it. But yeah,
I actually enjoy the stupid 3D moments just because of how
I do
funny
too.
it looks.
the yo-yo is probably my favorite. The yo-yo just, that keeps going. It's like a 10-minute scene of just yo-yoing. Like, who thought that was a good idea?
Although
I
the
will say this.
popcorn as well.
Oh yeah,
Three is definitely on my rewatch. I'm really looking through it critical. Like, it's just not very well put together. It does what it wants to do. However, the best stalking out of the entire series.
yes. And that's
The
also
best.
why they take a lot of those kills and put them in the Friday 13th video game. If you ever
Right.
played that, like there's parts where you can like recreate kills from the movies.
Yep.
3 is in that a lot because the kills are pretty great to play. Yeah, so I'm excited to talk about part 3. Even if Ryan doesn't love it, I still think it's a fun watch.
I like it.
We get the
I'll be
mask.
on your side,
It's fun.
Brian.
Yeah, we get the mask, and then if we don't have 3, we don't have part 4. And part 4,
Yes.
according to a lot of people, could be the best of it all. So we're gearing up for that. We'll see. Ryan clearly disagrees. He didn't say anything, but his face was like, no, he's a 7, man. Too.
7.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at too. I can't argue with that one at all. That's my opinion too. And that's what I was
7 and
expecting.
6.
Part 6.
7 and 6.
Yeah, 7 and 6 are great, but we'll get there. Joel looks very skeptical about all of this.
You
bear in mind
guys
the
have
last
spent
time
the
Joel
last
watched
5
the
minutes
part
dunking
6.
on 3, and I haven't watched it yet.
I
So,
like 3. Both Matt and I said 3 was good. Ryan
Yeah.
is dunking on 3. In my
I
I
screen,
haven't
don't
watched
know.
three
pointing
yet
at
either,
Ryan.
but
I'm
I
sorry.
like it.
Chris is not a good final girl. She is
Stop dunking on 3. This is what we just talked about. That wasn't an excuse to take more shots at it. All right, we're gonna say goodbye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Cheers, Liz, and 3.
Good one.